Hi everybody and welcome back to our weekly live stream. My name is Alicia and in this week's live lesson we are going to talk about phrasal verbs you can use at the office. We're going to talk about phrasal verbs that are very common at work, but many of these are very useful in school situations and in daily life situations. I know phrasal verbs are a really difficult part of vocabulary to remember because there's so many kind of small differences. So I hope this lesson helps you to remember some really good ones you can start using today. So as you join, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. That would be great. Also send a message in the chat if you are watching live and I'll try to say hello there. While we wait for people to join us live, I want to remind you, if you have not heard about it, the team has a free ebook to help you practice vocabulary. You can check the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. You will find, if you click that link, this free PDF ebook. This has the 2,000 core words of English. The core words of English are the most important words, the most commonly used words for everyday communication. So it's a great place to start. It's a great place to help you boost your vocabulary. This is free. If you have an account at EnglishClass101.com, great, you can download this now. Just log in and then come back to this page. If you have no account, you can make a free account with your name and email address and then come back to this page and get it for free. I'll remind you again later. So let's go with today's lesson. Let me check the chat quickly and then we're going to start talking because I have a lot. I always have a lot to cover, but today there's a lot to cover. Let's see who's in the chat. Hello, Natalie, hi, and Nazir, and Nas, Juan, Patrick, what's up? Anderson from Brazil, what's up? Facebook is still loading, I think. I will come back to you, Facebook. Okay, let's begin. We have so much to talk about. I want to start with part number 1 for today, everyday office activities. If you haven't, make sure to like the video so other people can find it, yeah? Okay, let's begin with the start of the day. I imagine this as the start of the day. In many jobs, the first phrasal verb, or maybe the first phrasal verb, is to clock in. To clock in means to begin your workday, but to register the time. So maybe that means you have a machine that checks the time when you start work, or maybe you have to use a computer and log in to work. So when you start work, when you register work, we call that clocking in, to clock in. So you can remember this because to clock in has the opposite when you leave work, to clock out. So when you clock out, you register the time you leave the office, okay? So this one means to register your time, to register your time. So your start time and your end time. To register, sorry, that's really difficult to read. To register your start time and your end time at the office, okay? So for example, we could say, clock in when you get to the office. Clock in when you get to the office. This is the command form here. Clock in means register your time when you get to the office. The opposite is clock out when you leave the office. Clock out when you leave the office. So clock in and clock out are the ways we start and end the workday. Okay, let's continue to part, well, number 2 in this list. Next is to set up. To set up. Notice there's a space here, yeah? To set up. 2 separate words. To set up means to prepare something, to get something ready for something else. We can use set up in many different situations. It's a very open meaning kind of phrasal verb. So to set up means to prepare something. So for example, we could say, let's set up workstations for the new staff. Let's set up workstations for the new staff. Let's set up an area for our new staff members, right? We can also use it, for example, inside our computer environment. Like, let's set up the new software, meaning let's prepare the new software. Let's get it ready. You could say, let's set up the living room in the new house. you can use the phrasal verb set up to mean to prepare something or to get something ready. Like, let's set up for the party also. Just note, there is a space here. Set up with no space is a noun. That is different, okay? Sometimes there's a little bit of overlap. Okay, I see everybody saying hello. Welcome everyone saying hello. Hello, Luis, happy vibes. Anthony, Emmanuel, what's up? Emmanuel wrote, let's set up my room for sleep. So do you need to prepare your room in order to sleep? Do you? Maybe you do, I don't know. Maybe you have to, set up a futon bed or something. That could be. But in my case, I don't really need to set up my room for sleep. Maybe you're a little different. Okay, Natalie has a different phrasal verb. Did I put that one in here? No, maybe that's over here. I don't know. Natalie wrote, I turn on the computer when I come to the office. Okay, good. That's correct. Alejandro, is this live? Yes, we've been doing this live stream for like 6, 7 years, I think. That's a long time. Anyway, yes, always live at this time every week. Facebook, hello, Adam, welcome. Okay, let's continue to the next one. To skip out. To skip out, and usually we use this with the preposition on. To skip out on something means like to pass on an activity, to not participate in an activity, but you are expected to participate in the activity. So let's look at the example sentence here. I'm gonna skip out on the afternoon meeting today. I'm gonna skip out on the afternoon meeting today. Here is the phrasal verb, skip out with on. So we often, very often, follow this pattern where we say skip out on noun phrase, the afternoon meeting today, okay? So this means to not do something or to not participate in something, but there's some expectation. So in this case, maybe, usually, you participate in the afternoon meeting, but today you just say, I'm too busy. I'm not going to participate in the meeting. So you can say, I'm going to skip out on the afternoon meeting today. You might also have heard the phrase like to skip work or to skip school. That means to choose not to attend, to choose not to go to school. We can also use this phrasal verb. You could say, I'm going to skip the afternoon meeting today. This skip out on is a little bit more casual way to say that. Okay. I don't see other examples yet. Hello, everybody who is still joining and saying hello. Let's continue to the next one. To head out, to head out. To head out means to leave a place. We can use to head out at the office in a very casual way. When you say, for example, it's late, I'm gonna head out. It's late, I'm gonna head out means it's late, I'm going to leave the office. You can also use this in casual settings. You can use this in your personal life. For example, at a party or an event, you can say, okay, it's time for me to go. I'm gonna head out, and you leave. That means the same thing. You can use this in many different situations, but this is a very common and casual way to say you are going to leave the office at the end of the day. So you can use this in many situations. Okay, Patrick wrote, is it correct? I'm clock in late today at my job. So I'm clock in. Remember, I know you know your grammar here, Patrick. So I'm is I am, right? This is a phrasal verb. So could we use the grammar I'm immediately followed by verb in the base form? We cannot, right? Say, I clocked in late today at my job. So to clock in. When you want to make this phrasal verb past tense, make this base verb past tense. I clocked in late at my job today. Okay. Okay. Let's continue to the last one. To call in or to call in sick. Usually we have this sick at the end. To call in sick. Often we say to call in sick for work or to call in sick for something. Okay. Here's the example. I have to call in sick today. So to call means to make a phone call to your office, or you can say, I have to write in sick, I suppose. Usually we say call in sick, like calling your boss or calling your teammates. This means you feel sick, okay, and you cannot come to work that day. You need to rest. Or You pretend to be sick as well. Maybe you want to take a day off and go somewhere. You think, oh, I'm going to call in sick today. I'll just say I'm not feeling well. So to call in sick means to report to your office and say, I can't come to work today, I'm sick. To call in sick, okay? All right. Mauricio wrote, when I stand in my office, is that skip out on? No. Oh, you mean if you stay in your office, but you go something? So to skip out on, maybe I'll put this here, means to not participate in something. So if you are at work, it's okay. For example, if you are very, very busy at your job that day, and there's a regular meeting, and you think, no, today's work is really, really important. I'm going to skip out on the meeting. It's okay if you are in the office, the same office. The meeting is in room A and your office is room B. That's okay. It means you are not participating in the activity. So to not participate in an activity. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. I hope that answers your question. Some other examples. Mino wrote, I want to head out on time to take care of my lovely dogs. Nice one, to head out on time. Nice combination there, Mino. Great work. Mark on Facebook wrote, okay. Okay, Mark. Okay, let's continue. Oh, we finished part 1. I love that. Okay, so let's continue to a quick break, and then we'll talk about some meeting-related phrasal verbs, okay? So if you missed it earlier, I do want to remind you about this great ebook right here. If you have not heard me talk about it, this is a free ebook from EnglishClass101.com. This has the 2,000 core words of English. The core words of English are the most commonly used words for everyday communication. So if you want to study English and make sure you study the most important words first, go download this ebook. You can find the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, above the video if you're watching on Facebook. It's free. You just need an account at EnglishClass101.com, which is free. So go and get that downloaded to practice your vocabulary. La M-I-E on Facebook, to clock out. Can you explain it? Yes, so you can watch the video again because this is being recorded. To clock out means to register the time you leave work. To register the time you leave work. Okay. Some other examples. Luis wrote, I wanted to set up the database server late so I could skip out on the virtual daily meeting. Good. Just one tiny change there, Luis, to skip out on. So almost always we say skip out on plus the noun phrase. Then it's perfect. Nice example. You put to in that sentence. Great. Okay, let's proceed to part 2, meetings. So here are some phrasal verbs that are common in meetings. First, to write down. To write down. This is maybe the most common phrasal verb for a meeting. It means to write or to take notes about a topic. Let's look at the example. He wrote down the details of the agreement. He wrote down the details of the agreement. So we can say just write or to take notes, right? So to write down, the image here is not just to write, which sounds like, for example, writing a book or writing a poem or writing an article. Sounds like at home, alone, I'm thinking and writing. To write down sounds like I listen to the information in the meeting or in the discussion, and I put that down on a piece of paper or in a computer. It's okay to use this for a computer also. To take notes on a computer, you can say, I'm going to write that down. It's okay. So writing with a pen or a computer is okay with this one. This one sounds like taking notes, to write down notes or to write down the information. In this case, he wrote down the details of the agreement. So to write down is a super common phrasal verb. You will hear this in school also. You can split this one. To write something, so to write something down is also okay to use. You may hear the command form, write that down. Can you write that down, please? Which means that thing I just said. Can you write that down? So that means please take a note about that, okay? Juan, good question. Is it valid in a virtual environment, like taking notes from a virtual meeting? Yes, absolutely. You can, if you join like Zoom meetings or online meetings, someone will take notes. Your boss or your manager might say, like, someone write that down. Like, you can absolutely, it's okay to use that in a virtual meeting as well. Thanks very much. Manuel wrote, I tried to write down in the comments box. So write is a bit different from write down, yeah? So to write down sounds like taking notes, okay? You're listening to someone's information and then putting the information in a document or writing the information in a document. So in your example, Emmanuel, I tried to write in the comment box, but my phone went crazy. I would use write in that situation. You could say, I tried to write down some notes, or I tried to write down your words in the comment box, maybe. It sounds like you are listening to information and recording the information. That's the feeling with to write down, okay? Elizabeth on Facebook, is write the most important of the meetings? So I would say there are many. I can't choose which is the most important verb in the meetings. There are many. So please study lots of verbs. But this one is very common, to record the information. Okay, let's go to the next one. To write up. To write up. You might notice. To write down means to take notes. To write up, the other direction now. To write up, let's look at the example sentence first, and then I'll explain. Please write up a list of tasks. Please write up a list of tasks. In this sentence, we have a list. So a list of tasks. We have a noun phrase after. This means to create something by writing. To create something by writing, okay? So this one does not sound like taking notes. This one, it's like taking the words in the air and putting them down. This, to write up, is like the opposite. We have a lot of information. Please create something with that information. So to create a written document. To create a written document is the feeling here. So you might see, document. So to write up is something your manager or your coworker might ask you to do. Hey, can you write up a procedure for this task? Or can you write up the information about this client? It means please create a written document. And this sounds like it doesn't have to be amazing, beautiful, perfect. It's like, give us a little information, yeah? It's not like a formal proposal or a formal document, but we need some information. So please write up a noun phrase, a list of tasks. Please write up some ideas for the project. Please write up some information about the client. It sounds like, please give us some information. Create a document with some information. Okay. Let me see your examples. Natalie wrote, I write up some ideas for the project. Do you want to use that in past tense? That's okay. So maybe if that's a regular activity. Oh, you took it away. Okay. All right. Thanks for the question, Natalie, or the example. Let's go to the next one. Super common. Another super, super, super common one. Please write this down today. To check in. To check in. Let's look at the example. I'd like to check in about the project. I'd like to check in about the project. So in this example, I have about here. You might hear check in about. You might hear check in with as well. So you can use check in to mean I'd like to ask for a status update. I'd like to ask, so to ask for a status update or to receive a status update. When you use about, you follow it with the topic. I'd like to check in about the project. This means, please tell me the latest information, the newest information about the project. We can also use it with. I'd like to check in with you. In this example, we have with. When we use with along with check in, it means we want to have the update with a person. Notice we use a person. So check in with you, check in with the manager, check in with him, or her. So these are the two maybe most common patterns to check in, to use with check in. It means to receive a status update or to get a status update. So you might say, can I check in with you about the agreement? I haven't heard from you in a while. It means, what's the status? That's a nice way to ask about the status. Okay? All right. Abhilash wrote, check in with me. Yes, so you might receive an email from your boss that says, hey, can you please check in with me today? It means I want some status updates from you. Okay? All right. Luis wrote, my colleague didn't check in to set up the database server, so I have to write up all the specifications also. Nice one. You're putting many in one sentence. Very nice. I see you. I see you. Okay. Juan, great point. Yes, it is different from check-in at the airport and check-in at the hotel. Great point. Yes, this check-in means receive a status update. When you go to the airport or a hotel or maybe a different appointment, to check in means to present your documents or to arrive for a reservation, right? So this one is different. In a work situation, it means to get a status update. This one's a really good one. Okay, on Facebook, Getas wrote, I will check with the supervisor about the next task. Okay, so to check with is a little different from check in with. Maybe you want to say check in with. That would be perfect, Getas. I will check in with the supervisor about the next task. That would be great. And it's like check on. Check on is a little similar. It's like saying, I'm going to confirm that. Let me confirm that. Let me check on that. Yeah, it means I will go and get the information. So these are very similar. Great points, everybody. I love that. Okay. Nevian wrote, it's similar to check-in, to have a check-in meeting with the team. Yes, exactly. Great. You guys are so, great connections, everybody. I love it. But I have only a few minutes left, so let me continue. Thanks, Control Desk. I love to explain. Okay, let's look at the next one. To talk up. I wanted to include a couple dramatic phrasal verbs here so you can understand some of the office dynamics, office politics a little bit. This one, to talk up. Let's look at the example sentence. My manager talked you up at the meeting. My manager talked you up at the meeting. Here, I have split it. Talked you up. Notice it's here, past tense. So we can split this one. To talk up someone or to talk someone up. To talk someone up means to talk about someone in a very positive way. To make this person sound great. For example, if I want to talk about my coworker and I say, oh my gosh, my coworker does such a good job. They work so hard. They are so good at what they do. I think they're, such a great teammate. I talk them up. That's right. Control desk. My control desk person, all the control desk staff, really, really great team members. We love them, right? You guys don't see them, but they're great team members. So we could say, Alicia talked you up in the live stream. That means she made you sound really, really good. Yeah? So to talk someone up is usually a very good thing. Yeah? To make someone sound great. Then you can maybe see what this one means. To talk down, and we have a couple prepositions to look at here. To talk down to and to talk down about someone. Okay, so let's take a look at these two kind of different but related meanings. Don't talk down to someone means don't try to talk to someone like they are below you. So for example, maybe you've met a manager or even a teacher where they talk and you listen only. Like it sounds like they're above you, they're better than you. You are lower. It doesn't feel good, right? So we describe that as talking down to someone. To talk down to someone means to talk to someone in a disrespectful way, not respectful. To talk down to someone, okay? So to talk down about someone means the opposite of to talk up someone. So to talk down about someone means to talk about someone and say, that person is bad. It's a very negative thing to do. If you hear someone saying, oh, that person on our team, they're lazy, they can't do anything right, they always make mistakes, we could say, oh, she talked down about that person in the meeting, okay? So there are two different ways we can use to talk down. So to means the way of speaking. To talk down about someone means to describe bad characteristics of someone. So this one's 2 for 1. Okay, let me quickly check the chat and then, oh my gosh, we have to finish. Karvensky wrote, I write down notes. So I write down notes maybe as you teach us would be great. Or I wrote down notes during your lesson. So we can make that a little more natural. You got the idea of write down. Good job. Hello to everyone still joining. Patrick, is talk down kind of gossip? When you talk down about someone, yes, it can be gossip. It's usually not very productive, not helpful to talk down about somebody. Maybe you need to explain to someone that a person was very rude or maybe dangerous, but often it is about gossip. Okay, let's see. Facebook, Mengli wrote, can we say don't talk your employees down? Ooh, good question. Don't talk your employees down. I would say usually we don't split this one. Like we do split talk up, like to talk someone up. To talk your employees down, I feel we usually do not split this one. Usually it follows this pattern. Don't talk down to your employees or don't talk down about your employees. Okay. Others, okay, if I missed your comment, I'm very sorry. Let's go to the next one. I tried to get as many as I could. Let's finish quickly with some computer task vocabulary. Oh my gosh, I'm so late. First is to send over. Please send over the photos. To send over just means send. That's all. It means send. It just is a casual way to say send. Please send over the photos. Please send over the files. Please send over the ebook. Yeah? It means please email it to me or please mail it to me. Send over is a casual way to say send. That's easy, right? We love it. Very common though. The next one, to look into. To look into sounds like research, but light research. Here's the example. I'm looking into some equipment upgrades. I'm looking into some equipment upgrades. Means I'm searching for information about something, to look into. So if you say I'm researching equipment upgrades, it sounds like formal, kind of high level, very intense. But I'm looking into sounds like I'm just checking information. I'm getting some information. I'm writing down some information. Yeah, it's like light research. Very useful though. Let's look at this one. 2 for 1, a pair. To fill in and to fill out means to write the information in a form. For example, please fill out the application form. Please fill out the application form means please write your information in the application form. I'll say I've noticed in American English, which I speak, we tend to use fill out more. I've noticed in British English, maybe Australian also, I see fill in a lot of the time too. Please fill in and fill out. They mean the same thing. Write your information in it. Okay, next one. To plug in. This one is very important. To plug in means to connect the power to a machine on this side, and the wall. To connect the power means to plug in those two things. So this is the power cord, this is the wall. To plug in, yeah? So this one is very important, I know, to making sure your computer, your printer, your phone, everything is working correctly. I forgot to plug in my computer. It happens sometimes, right? So to plug in, this one's an important one. Get us, good one. To fill in can mean to replace or cover for someone. Yes, we can also use fill in to mean replace someone. Hi, I'm filling in for my coworker today. Or, hey everybody, I'm filling in for so-and-so today. Yes, to fill in can mean to replace someone else. Okay, and let me look at the next one lastly, and then I'll check the chat real quick. Sorry to go quickly with this last group. To pull up, to pull up. Let's look at the example. Can you pull up the latest version of the document? Can you pull up the latest version of the document? In a computer situation, this means like in a meeting, please open the file on your screen so we can look at it together. Okay, so this one has a lot of information. Please open the file. Like, we want to look at the file. Can you pull up the document? Can you pull up the graphic design? Can you pull up the proposal? Means, can you please open that file because we want to look at it together. So to pull up has a different meaning than, say, for example, cars. When you pull up next to someone at a stoplight, very different meaning. To pull up a document means to open a document on your computer. Very common one. Okay, we got through all of it. Let me check the chat really quickly and then we'll finish. Oh my gosh. Erase Higuera on YouTube wrote, is it correct to say, someone pulled me into a meeting? Yes, use past tense. Someone pulled, add ed there, someone pulled me into a meeting. That means I was not in the meeting, someone requested me and said, please join the meeting. Ugh, and I went. So you can say, pulled me into a meeting. The Black Eagle, my coworker forgot to plug in the photocopier. Great one. Others, let's see, I'm trying to see people I have not seen yet. Get us, pull up a slide on Facebook. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Maybe pull up a slide? I'm not sure what you mean by pull up a side. If you have a different sentence, maybe that would help. Emmanuel wrote, I plugged in my phone. It was on low battery, or it had a low battery. Good, okay. Phew. That's all I see right now. Let's finish there because time is running out. I will make a QR code if you want to get the notes from today. I think it's this button, share by QR code. I will make it an image. Oh, there's a blank one there. We don't need that. Image. Now, if I create this, up, it's creating. So get your phone ready if you want to take a picture of today's stream. There you go. All right, there is today's lesson notes if you want to make a copy of them for your records. You can check it out later. Oh my gosh, how do I exit this? There we go. Okay, great. So that's all that I have time for today. I hope that you found some good phrasal verbs you can use right away. I know phrasal verbs are difficult, but it's one thing that's best to practice. I also recommend reading. Do a lot of reading to make sure you understand natural ways to use phrasal verbs. So that's all for today. For this week, I'll be back next week. Oh my gosh, next week's lesson topic. Where did you go? Next week I'll be back. Ah, yes. Oh, next week is going to be really fun. I planned a lesson for how to talk about appearance and style, and we're going to use some slang. I'm also going to try to talk about some recent vocabulary words from the last year or so that we use to talk about our appearance, so hairstyle, fashion, and so on. How do we say, oh, he looks good or she looks good, and how do we understand modern or more recent slang words? So that will be really, really fun. So please join me for that next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York City time. If you don't know your local time, use your amazing Google skills or set a notification on Facebook or on YouTube so you get a pop-up when we start. So I'll say goodbye for today. Thank you so much to everybody who joined me this week. As always, thanks for your great questions and your great examples. I love that. So amazing. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to get the free ebook. You can find the link for that in the YouTube description up here or down here. Go crazy. Download that. So have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.